Welcome to All Home Care Matters, the show where we discuss all things home care, with discussions on important age-related matters and topics. Brought to you by Enriched Life Home Care Services, the #1 rated home care provider in Michigan by Top Rated Local.
Hello, and welcome back to All Home Care Matters. If this is your first time visiting us here at the show, we want to say thank you for taking time out to be with us today. We appreciate how valuable everyone's time is, and that's why we try and make each episode here at All Home Care Matters something that will hopefully matter to you. Today, we are honored to welcome back a wonderful friend of the show, Marianne Sciucco, co-founder of AlzAuthors. Welcome, Marianne.
Hi, Lance. Thanks so much for inviting me back.
Marianne, you're here to share a wonderful new project that AlzAuthors is getting ready to launch.
Yes, we do have an exciting new project. As you know, AlzAuthors is all about sharing our stories. And most of the resources that are in our collection are books. We have over 300 books written from personal experience on the Alzheimer's and dementia caregiving journey. And a book can be a heavy load. So we have contracted with Larry Smith of Six-Word Memoirs to do our very own Six-Word Memoir Project. And what that means is that you tell your own story, your life story, your memoir in only 6 words.
Wow.
So it's something that I think everybody can do. It sounds hard, but when you sit down and start writing, you'll find that you can come up with a lot of these little stories quite easily and quickly. So our goal is to collect several hundred and put them together in a book. And then that will be available for people to purchase as an ebook or a paperback, but also it'll be available on the website as well. So we're pretty excited about it. We just launched it and we already have several stories that have been uploaded.
So I just want to share a few with our listeners and viewers that you had shared with me. And as I was reading these, I was trying to come up with my own 6-word story. I have not came up with one yet, but here's just some examples. The first one was unexpected blessing from mother's dementia diagnoses. The next one was mom, dad, dual diagnosis, simultaneous decline. Diagnosis, not unexpected, but still devastating. And this one really affected me more, I think, than the others was, Mom, do you know me today? And I think it really cuts all the forest out and you get right to the tree where, you know, you're taking all of these experiences and putting it into 6 words. And it's a lot harder than it sounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's challenging, but you can write as many of these little 6-word vignettes as you would like. So you're not limited to just these 6 words. You can create 10, 20, 100, however many you need to maybe express different parts of the journey or your feelings. And they can all be shared as well. And you can share them using your own name, or you could use a pseudonym. You don't have to expose yourself if you don't wish. And this is open to everybody. It's not just open to the people that are involved in AlzAuthors. It's open to anyone in the dementia community who has something to say. You know, when we share stories and we make a racket, people have to listen.
Right.
And that's the goal, is to raise awareness and, you know, get people to understand what is going on with dementia caregiving, and hoping that eventually we can move into like the legislative arena where we can start getting people in Congress and state legislatures to pay attention to the needs of caregivers and divert funds.
Where did
to help find a cure.
Yeah, where did the idea come up with for the 6-word memoirs for AlzAuthors?
Well, it came from one of our authors, of course. It was Susan Cushman, who's been in AlzAuthors for a few years now. She was in the very first, I believe, 6-word memoir book when she submitted her story. And so Susan had had a very tumultuous relationship with her mother all of her life. And at the end of her mother's life, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And Sue took on the challenge of caring for her mom. And her 6-word memoir was The Upside to Alzheimer's, New Mother, because her mother forgot all about whatever grudges that she held against her daughter for like decades. She forgot all about that and became the loving mother that Susan had yearned for all of her life. And she tells that story in her memoir, which is on our website called Tangles and Plaques. So she told that story in her blog post for AlzAuthors. And then when I interviewed her on the podcast, and I just found it so profound and compelling, to sum it up so briefly in these 6 words that say so much. So that kind of was in my head for a while. And I was thinking this would be a really great project for us. And we have the people to do it. I have more than 300 authors. If everybody wrote at least one, we'd have a book right away. So I contacted with Larry Smith, and he has put out several books in the interim, one of which I really liked. I reviewed it. It's called The Terrible, Horrible, No Good Year, and it was written by kids in school and teachers and parents and administrators about being locked down during the school year, during COVID 2021. So that had a lot of really amazing stories written from very young kids to, parents and teachers, all different perspectives. So I was really hooked on that. And I wrote to him, and he at the time was getting ready to beta test an app. So he invited us to be part of his testing. And we are the first community writing a book like this, writing the 6-word memoirs that is wrapped around a cause, that we have a mission. So we're pretty excited about that. We're proud of that we are able to use their tools to get our stories out there.
Well, and as you should be, you mentioned you guys have the people, over 300 authors. I just want to say that doesn't include all of your supporters and allies out there. I'm sure the number would be far greater than 300. And anytime that we can help support the causes, projects, and work that AlzAuthors is doing, as I've told you many times, and people that listen to the show regularly know, we will be more than happy to do so. And I just, again, have to applaud the remarkable work that AlzAuthors is doing. And you guys are a force to be reckoned with.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
So when people go on the site, and we'll have the link, and there's also a code too where they can go to join topics to use this code for the 6wordsmemoirs.com. They just submit their 6 words, and then it will go into the book that eventually will be published. Do you guys have a target date in mind for when you're hoping to get this out?
No, probably next year.
Next year? Okay. And
Yeah, we have several stories now, but we need a lot more.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even know how many there are. I can show you the page so you can see some of them, but you log in, you have to make an account, and you log in and have a password, and then you can go into the site and view all of the entries and add your own.
Oh, wonderful. And have any really stood out from others for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you want to take a look at them?
Yeah, let's do that.
Up here at the top, you can see the URL, which I can give in the show notes. It's app.sixwordmemoirs.com/topic/A8TT44DI. That's our official address. So this is our prompt. In 6 words, what's one takeaway from my personal journey caring for a loved one with dementia? Hosted by alzauthors.com. And here are some of the submissions that recently came in. Near death, her eyes so blue. That was written by one of our authors. Grandma babysat us, then roles reversed. Reasoning lost, I loved her anyway. My need to care was consuming. Love means not taking it personally. Was her daughter now her friend? Look in her eyes and smile. We talk about Mama every day. And then singing became our new dementia language. All of them are profound in their own way. It's actually Tuesday. It doesn't matter. Very good advice. And so being a son to being forgotten, I find that to be really...
I just was reading that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And also Purple Sky, of course it is. Yeah. That's the most important advice to anyone caring for a loved one with dementia, is just go along with them. Yeah. They are not coming into your reality. So the best thing is to enter theirs. So, there's just a lot. No more words, just hold hands. and nothing would be the same again. So these are just some of the submissions that popped up in the lab. That's just in the last day or so. But to participate, you would click on this button here, and then it all opens up the field for you to enter your own. And then you would just hit submit. We have a deadline right now, December 12th, but we can extend that if we'd like. But we're just trying to gather as many as we can. So it's open to anybody who has a story to share. You don't have to be in part of AlzAuthors, and you don't have to be a published author.
And then when the book comes out, this will be available also on the AlzAuthors website, I'm assuming?
Yeah, the book will be available through the website and then through Amazon. That's where we normally sell our books, and it will be a fundraiser for our organization. My goal is to have different versions. One is just going to be like a free version, which will be just the stories told like in a simple format. And then that'll be an ebook, and another ebook that will be better designed with graphics and color and things like that. And then we'll have a paperback, and that will be the full version. That would be full of design elements. If you were to go onto their website or go through one of their books, you can probably find it in your library to see what they look like. It would resemble something more like that, a little more sophisticated.
When you were saying this, and this is a part of an actual ongoing series, and this particular topic is for caregivers or loved ones with dementia. So I think it's a remarkable way to tell a story. I mean, just going through those examples, you can see how profoundly impactful and how you can really get the whole picture in just 6 short words.
Yeah.
It's quite incredible when you think about it. I like one of them I saw was, Louis, you can't take it all. I mean, almost talking like it's a person, right? With Lewy body disease. How long do you plan to continue with the submissions? If somebody's hearing this and it's December 12th, let's say, and they didn't listen to this when it first was released, do they still have the ability to get in, you said?
I think so. I think I can change the date. We do have to have an end date at some point, but probably when I reach like 300 or 400 entries, maybe. I don't really know what the number is, but just keep it open for a while. I'm in no rush to close it out, and we can always start a new one.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'd like to have different topics, especially like from people who are living with the disease. If there are people who want to have a say on their experience, because we know that they're out there and then that they're verbal and they like to share their story. So we want to include them, but this first one is dedicated to just caregiving. And on the Six-Word Memoir website itself, there are the hundreds of other topics that you can write on, everything across the whole gamut of human experience. There's tons of them. So, you could go there too and enter your stories there and practice as well. Some of them will be made into books, some of them won't, whatever the goal is. My suggested to my daughter, she's a school teacher, this would be a great project for your kids.
Yeah.
A classroom project, and learning how to write succinctly and to make every word matter, in your sentence is a great skill to learn. So people can do that. And people have used it to send, put together a little booklet for like the bride and the groom on the occasion of their wedding, and have wedding guests all submit something, in 6 words, something. Why do you love so-and-so? Or what's your best memory of so-and-so? Well, what marriage advice do you have to give in 6 words? So you can do things like that. And it doesn't have to even be published. It can just exist on the website and be something special.
Well, and speaking of your daughter being a teacher, being a parent with kids, young kids, in elementary school and kindergarten, I think that would be a fantastic thing to have the teachers do. And then, the kids can look back years later and, reflect on it, and the parents can reflect on it. What a creative idea. Now, did Larry Smith, is he the founder, inventor of this 6-word memoir? He's the one that came up with the idea?
He is. He said he was inspired by Ernest Hemingway. I actually have the quote here that I could show. Legend has it that Ernest Hemingway was once challenged to write a story in only 6 words. His response: for sale, baby shoes, never worn. And that really motivated him. It's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot in that 6 words. But anyway, he was inspired then to come up with the 6-Word Memoir Project. And so since then, there have been people of all ages and descriptions sharing their life stories, from the bittersweet, cursed with cancer, blessed with friends, and poignant, I still make coffee for two, to the inspirational, from migrant worker to NASA astronaut, and hilarious, married by Elvis, divorced by Friday. So it's a global phenomenon and a best-selling series. There are 10 books featured, and it's been featured across the New York Times to NPR and the New Yorker. 1.5 million people have shared their memoirs on sixwordmemoirs.com, as well as in classrooms, churches, and at live 6-word slams across the world. I would love to do that, a 6-word slam. That would be a great event for AlzAuthors to put on. Maybe when we launch our book, we could have people come on to Zoom just to tell their stories. That would be so much fun.
That would be remarkable. That would be tremendous. That would, yes, we'd love to be a part of it in any way we can. Any other big projects? Because AlzAuthors is always doing something helpful and resourceful for families and for the raising awareness of dementia. Any other projects you want to share that you guys are working on or that might be coming up in the future?
Yeah, we get a few things coming up in November, which is Caregiver Appreciation Month. And on November 8th, we're doing a virtual Q&A called Dementia with Difficult People, featuring several authors who have cared for parents, primarily for most of them a mother who they did not have a good relationship with for most of their lives, but took on the challenge of caregiving when there was a dementia diagnosis. And I think all of them have also had to deal with difficult siblings throughout the journey as well. Siblings who were either in denial or absent or just not helpful to the situation. So just compounding everything, and they're going to share their stories and come up with some ideas and strategies to help others that are currently caught in that. That's an extremely difficult position to be in. Right. Most people, oh, I love my mom, I'll do anything for her. Well, that's kind of easy. But when you have a mother you haven't talked to in 25 years, and then the last time you spoke, it was bitter and it still hurts. And now all of a sudden you're in charge and they're not agreeable or accepting, it's a big challenge. So many people have overcome that, like including Susan Cushman, who I mentioned before, who inspired me to do the 6-word memoir. Unfortunately, she will not be one of the authors, but we do have 5 or 6 others. And then on the 15th, I was invited to put together a program for the New York Alzheimer's Association. It's virtual, and they're going to do the first half is going to be a presentation on understanding Alzheimer's and dementia. And then the second half is going to be about AlzAuthors. And I have 2 other authors joining me on that who are New Yorkers, Kate Hanley and Daniel Kenner. And we will be talking about sharing our stories. And we're doing our annual book sale in November, starting November 9th to the 16th. So many of our books will be discounted and some will be for free if people check out that book sale then for Caregiver Appreciation Month. And all of this will be on our website at alzauthors.com and on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Or you can join our newsletter. If you go on our website, there's a place, so you get a pop-up right away. Join our newsletter and you'll get it in your inbox every week, what's going on with AlzAuthors, special events, new authors, new books, podcasts, all of that stuff. And you also get a free digital copy of our anthology #1, Alzheimer's and Dementia Caregiving Stories, as a new subscriber.
Wonderful. Well, I can attest the newsletter is very informative. There's a lot of good information in there, keeping up with all the tremendous work that you and the AlzAuthors group are doing. It's always a privilege to have you on, Marianne, and always support everything you guys are doing. And I encourage people to, go to the sixwordmemoirs.com, register, drop in their 6 words and, share their story. And we'll have the links to all of this in the show notes as well as on all of our social media for you guys. And we look forward to having you back again next time.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Marianne. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you for joining us today here at All Home Care Matters. All Home Care Matters is here to help families as they navigate these long-term care issues. We invite you to visit us at allhomecarematters.com, where there's a private, secure, fillable form where you can give us feedback, show ideas, or if you have questions. Every form is read and responded to. And remember, you can listen to the show on any of your favorite podcast streaming platforms or watch the show on our official YouTube channel. Just make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. We'd also like to say thank you again to Marianne Sciucco of AlzAuthors for joining us today to discuss the Six-Word Memoirs. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to you joining us again on another episode of All Home Care Matters. To learn more about the show and to connect with us, visit us at allhomecarematters.com.